Hi, everyone. I'm Ed Garsten, and welcome to episode 128 of Tales from the Beat, where we look at news and PR from both sides of the scrimmage line. So, what if there was a PR person that was really good at playing the game with the reporter and everybody scores and it all works out okay? That would be perfect, right? Wouldn't it? Well, that person that's in the box, I know I'm going to point the wrong way. Next to me, that's Kelly Law. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Ed. Thank you for having me.
You bet. Kelly Law is a PR manager with a PR and marketing agency, the Brand Amp, and you're based in Hotlanta, right?
Yes, I've lived in Atlanta my entire life, so I love it here. My family and friends are here. It's great despite the
Yeah.
traffic.
You know what? I lived there for 8 years
Mm-hmm.
from, let's see, 81 to 89, my first years at CNN, and was a very, we loved Atlanta. We loved Atlanta until they shipped me up to Detroit, which was fine. It was by choice. But yeah, no, I love Atlanta. It's a great town. Traffic, but
Good.
you guys had Chick-fil-A before Chick-fil-A was cool.
We did, and thank goodness for Chick-fil-A, one of my favorite restaurants for sure.
Yes, and Krispy Kreme. And do they still have Po Folks restaurants there?
I'm not familiar with Po Folks. I know the Varsity, but I don't know Po Folks.
Oh yeah, well the Varsity. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the Varsity has shortened all our lifespans by that much, especially the onion rings and the. Okay, but you're not here to talk about that, but I can talk about Atlanta all day because it's a great town. I love it there. But I invited you, Kelly, because we've known each other now, I don't know, for a few years, right? We got together through Archer Aviation.
Yes, yes.
So why don't you talk about just how that sort of came about and how things got going, and then we can talk about our case study of something that really was an unusual circumstance that really worked out well.
Yeah. So to your point, I believe we've been working with Archer together for over 2 years now. I remember
Mhm.
I first reached out to you because you cover, mobility. I
Right.
thought you'd be a great fit for Archer News moving forward. And I've been able to keep you in the loop with all that the company's doing. But also when they're having some bigger news, I've also been able to keep you in the loop by giving you news under embargo when I know it may be of interest for you to cover and maybe then get interviews with execs in advance to really craft a substantial story ahead of the news going live.
Yeah, it's and you've been great at that. And it's a cool company. We should explain to folks that Archer Aviation, people that don't know about them, they are involved with electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. And right, they're going to provide what air taxis and stuff during the Olympics in 28 in the LA area and in Southern California.
Yes, they're the official air taxi partner of the LA 28 Olympics and have previously announced an LA network. So Los Angeles will be one of their first launch cities here in the US.
Yeah, it's a cool company to write about. And that's just one of the great things that I think you do, Kelly, is that you know that we can't do every story, but you still send the releases and you know that we can't do that. And that's, believe it or not, that's unusual. I get a lot of PR people that think you're going to do every story, and I say, well, maybe you need to buy an ad if you want,
Exactly.
right? If you want every story. And is that a product of a philosophy that you've had during your career or something through the client or your agency? I mean, how did you get into that mindset so that you're so empathetic with where a reporter's at?
Yeah, I think early on in my career, I had good mentors and good people at my agency that really instilled relationship building with reporters to me. So when I'm reaching out to reporters, I'm truly being mindful of what they cover and not being a pesky PR person by spamming them with
Yeah.
news that I know may not be worthy of coverage. If I have news that I think wouldn't be as huge of a deal to them. You mentioned it, but I frame it as that. I frame it as I'm keeping them in the loop. And then if I have news that I think would be a bigger deal to them, I'll then give them a call or I'll text them in order to get their
Mhm.
thoughts as soon as I can in case they'd like to plan around it or get interviews in advance. And building that trust and that relationship has really gone a long way. Now, if I have reporters at major national news outlets, they are inclined to pick up my phone call or respond to my text quickly because they know Kelly wouldn't be bothering me on something that wouldn't be newsworthy to me. Like
Right.
if she has something that she's aware I would potentially want to cover, I'm going to take the time to listen to her because I've built that trust in advance.
You know that you may shake your head at this, but as someone that's on the receiving end of all these pitches, it's amazing for me to have to tell you how unusual and wonderful that attitude is. Because I'm getting so much stuff that is not newsworthy.
Yeah,
It, it amounts to attempted getting free advertising or just totally promotional, but there's no news to it. So I'm just wondering if Kelly, if you ever have an occasion where you do have to tell the client if they want you to publicize something that, maybe that's not going to work with the reporter that for one reason or another that's not going to land and get you coverage. Do you ever have to have those conversations?
definitely. I think as PR people, it's our job to manage expectations with the client as much we can in advance. And based on their direction, we may take our shot, we will manage expectations, we will try, but then it's up to us to then go back to them and say, hey, this isn't working out. We don't
Yeah.
think it's worth, following up with journalists for this announcement that we think may not be as newsworthy to them. We would rather salvage that relationship. We know it's not working. Maybe we can pitch trade media and it'll be a fit for them or local media, but this announcement may not be worthy on a national scale. So I think it's, of course, managing their expectations and providing counsel in advance so we don't ruin those relationships we have with media.
And I mean, you have to be lucky enough too to have a client that accepts your expertise, right? Because there's some that just say, we're paying, we're the boss, and you've got to do what we say. And then you're stuck trying to pitch, basically a loser. And then they come back and blame you and go, hey, why didn't I get on the Today Show or something like that? So you're lucky to have a client but it must be because you've built credibility with them as well, don't you think?
Yes, definitely. And all of that comes into factor too when our agency is taking clients, like when we're, giving them marketing proposals in advance, we're setting expectations. This is earned media. We have to have strong, powerful stories to tell the media. So I think all of that, good key learnings to go back to clients very far in advance. Like to your point, if you want a guaranteed story in an outlet like Forbes, we can't
Mhm.
guarantee that. Like that would be a paid advertisement.
Yes. Yeah. And that's I think I saw somebody it was on LinkedIn the other day. Somebody just wrote, if your client asks if you can guarantee coverage, just say, sure, buy an ad. And that's the answer. That's really the only answer to guarantee coverage. I was on the other side of it. I worked for 11 years at the many versions of Chrysler. And they would ask, why can't you guarantee we get on Today's Show or Good Morning America? And he said, if you say you can't, and they would just say, oh, you must not be very good then. I go, "No, I'm just telling you, it's not a good story. What are you going to do?" But before we get into our little case study, I really wanted to ask you, you're so worldly in your attitude. And I'm not just saying that. I mean, because it's true. Have you always been at the brand amp? What's sort of your background?
Yeah, I have always been with the brand Damp. I've been with them for a little over 5 years now. I've learned a lot there. They're an integrated marketing agency, so I've really been able to work with integrated teams to see how, a digital marketing campaign will come together across not only PR but social, events, digital, influencer. And
Mhm.
with them, I've done great work for our clients. I've been able to get them in major national media outlets like CNN, Fox
Mhm.
News, the Associated Press, etc. And I've
Wow.
been able to work on clients that span automotive, lifestyle, and consumer tech. So it's been a great experience for me. In college, I knew I wanted to go the digital marketing realm. I
Mhm.
first thought I wanted to be a broadcast journalist, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I know you dealt with journalism and PR.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, I wanted to be a sports broadcast
No
journalist.
kidding. Oh,
So
oh.
I auditioned to go on my college's like local news channel,
Oh,
and I realized I didn't really like it as much as I thought I
okay.
would, but I
Yeah.
did like the storytelling aspect.
Mhm.
Of journalism. And through PR courses, I found out that I could really build on that and build on writing with PR and building
Yeah.
awareness for a brand. And I found excitement with that.
That's very cool. I had a weird path too. I mean, I honestly didn't know what I wanted to be, and one night, an upperclassman just said to me, I was a freshman in my college. I mean, a couple of weeks into my freshman year, and the guy said, I think you should be on the campus radio station. And he dragged me down there, and I was so scared, and I didn't know it was going to change my life, and end up spending many, many years in broadcasting until fate took over and got laid off and went to the print side. But I really love the print side because it's all about the words, and you don't
Mhm.
have to wear makeup or care about your hair, any of that
Yes.
stuff. But right in the end, we're all storytellers, right? No matter what side of the line we're on.
Hmm.
And so that's why I admired your choices because you wanted to tell stories and it doesn't matter which side you're on.
Hmm.
So let's talk a little bit about our little case study, okay? Because this is unusual for me as well. So I don't know if you want to. There was a story with Archer and what they had to deal with Korean Airlines. What was that story about? If you could refresh our memory.
They partnered with Korean Air to bring air taxi services to South Korea.
Okay, and so that broke. That embargo lifted, I think, on a Monday morning. Is that right? And then you came to me. It was only like 2 days later with another story
Yes.
with Archer, and that was okay. I'm having a senior moment. So what was that one? Do you remember?
They were the official air taxi partner of the Los Angeles Sports and Entertainment Commission.
Right. So what were when you came 2 days later with another story? What were your expectations about what was going to happen to that?
I will say I'm very aware that it's rare that a reporter can cover your client back to back.
Hmm.
They have news close to each other. As counsel, I do tell our clients to space news out and announcements out when possible. It's
Hmm.
better to, not spam the media and maintain a steady cadence of being in the news.
Yeah.
Um, the second announcement was important to Archer, and we took our shot, and we did share the news, and you provided that counsel that we did just cover Archer. It may be hard to get another story, which I completely understood. Good
Yeah.
feedback to have and share with a client. But then you came back to me due to our strong relationship, and you
Yeah.
said that you can propose updating the story to include
Hmm.
both, since you previously covered the Korean Air story. Which, to your point, a great case study and a great testament to strong media relations.
It really is, Kelly, because honestly, I wouldn't do that for everyone that I work with. But I think that's just the value of a great relationship between a reporter and a PR person and the trust that you have, that you've built up over time. And so, one of the beauties, of course, of doing stories on the web is that it's easy to update, right? You just go on and update it. But I didn't have to do it. I mean, it would have been easy just to say, well, I just did a story 2 days ago. I can't do another one. But I respect that you come to me with real news. And so it was easy to take that step and find a way to sort of massage and update the lead to the story, as you saw, and include the news. And frankly, I think that it ended up being a stronger story, having both angles in there, and I don't think I think the readers probably appreciate it. I don't hear directly from them too often, but I was just curious as to if you got any feedback from the client about being able to score sort of that extra coverage.
Yeah, they were very thrilled. They knew that it's hard to get coverage back to back,
Hmm.
especially when you just put news out and then you have news a few days after. So they thought the story update was just another great testament to our strong media relations.
Yeah, and it really does matter. And for anyone watching or listening to this, I mean, it does matter to have those relationships. You can't have them for both sides. You can't have them with everyone. And you do have to pick your spots. And there are a few of you out there that I do have close relationships with, and I will personally, as a reporter, take that extra step. But I know that you will also take an extra step too if I needed some extra elements to make the story work.
Yes.
So that's just our little case study that is unusual, really, just to go back 2 days later and change a story around. But that's testament to both the relationship and honestly the strength of the news. They were both really great angles. So Kelly, let's talk a little bit about just some other stuff, uh, tools that you may use in your job. We don't hear as much about SEO, search engine optimization, as we used to now that there's more prominence with AI. But I'm just curious as to, how much emphasis you give to both in sort of both building story ideas and pitches, since basically that's what drives a lot of traffic now, since people don't buy as many physical copies of news media.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's very important that PR professionals use both SEO and AI to their advantage. For SEO, PR professionals, I think, could benefit to see what's trending through platforms like Google Trends and
Yeah.
use those insights to see where they could potentially input their client. Like, for
Mhm.
example, if there's a trending topic that your client CEO or exec could provide expert insight on, you could then utilize that trend to
Mhm.
newsjack and make your exec a thought leader in the space.
Oh.
Um, yeah, and then for I think it's good for research purposes when you're building
Mhm.
story ideas, but I
Yeah.
think it's also very important that we don't use it to write pitches or materials, as
Thank
we
you.
want to ensure we have a human tone with
Mhm.
everything we do as PR pros.
Yes. Is that something that you've developed as a personal habit? Is that a policy at your agency regarding AI? Because then I'll tell you my side of it.
I would say personal and agency, since,
Mhm.
our main job is storytellers, we want to remain as authentic as possible. We certainly don't want to be using other
Mhm.
platforms to write. That's the thing that I feel like should pride ourselves in as PR professionals is our
Mhm.
writing ability, and that's what we work
Yeah.
strongly to improve and be creative on ourselves.
Well, that's great. That's so important because there are people out there on both sides that are using AI basically to do their jobs as shortcuts or just because they're honestly, too lazy to do it. I know our policies, we don't use AI to create content at all. I think the only time I'll really use it if I really have a writer's block. I mean, I'm really blocked, which it doesn't happen too often. I might just use it to get me off the dime. I'll just say, I just need an idea, but I would never use content directly from AI. And plus, we're not allowed, but we shouldn't be allowed to use content from AI since we're not even sure that it's actually accurate. Because
Yes.
right, it's just scrubbing the web. You don't know if it's accurate or not. So that's refreshing to hear your policy about that. I mean, you can get in a lot of trouble and by using AI incorrectly, but it's a great tool, right? It can
Yes.
be a great tool. So, I mean, what's your best use for it when you want to use it?
I would say research, and just to help to your point when you're hitting a writer's block, I think it's good to use if like, what's another word for this? Like you're
Yeah.
writing a press release and you find yourself being very repetitive using a word over and over again. It's
Yeah.
easy plug in what is another term I could use for this and using that. But of course, like not full sentences, not full press releases, but just using like you would use a dictionary.com, but quicker,
Mhm.
I'd say.
Yeah, yeah. And I've got to tell you, I mean, to me, writing is never work. It's just, I just love it. And one of the biggest thrills I think you get, I think you probably get it too as you're writing content, is when you come up with that great turn of phrase or just you've crystallized a way of expressing something in words and it came out of your head. You know, why would you want to let a bot do that?
Yeah.
You know, what a thrill it is just to say, that's so cool. You know, that I came up with that
Yes,
as just sort of a personal accomplishment and feel of satisfaction.
I agree.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, here's your chance to let loose. What do reporters do that kind of get to you, kind of tick you off?
Yes. I would probably say including incorrect information on our clients and their stories. I've
Mm,
had editors do product reviews, for example, and I've given them all of the necessary information that they need to succeed. Like I've gotten
mm,
on the phone, I'll give them specs, make press kits, reviewers guides for our clients' products, but have then still had to go back to them to make corrections after the fact. And
yeah.
I really deal with that by being politely persistent, I'd say.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
know journalists, they don't want to report inaccurate information. So I'm
Right.
following up with them for those corrections because I know it's mutually beneficial. And of course, doing that with remaining as polite as possible. We're all
Mhm.
human. I know the news cycle can get so crazy and
Oh,
everyone's
yeah,
moving quickly. So I'm
sure,
understanding, but I'm also, being politely persistent, like I said, because
yeah,
we our clients to be happy and have accurate information represented for them.
sure. No, I can see that because I remember when I was on the other side at Chrysler, I had reporters that reported incorrect information, and I would tell them that, and they didn't want to do a correction. I had one was a local TV guy. He would not do it. He refused. He said, "Oh, my source. Oh, it's my source." And I said, "Well, I'm sorry. Your source is full of shit. He's wrong. I'm
Yeah.
telling you." Well, you're just a PR guy at the company. You're not going to tell me the truth. And I said, "Well, no." Interesting. When I flipped over from journalism to the PR side, I told him, if you ever ask me to lie to a journalist, that's my last day on the job. I'll quit. I'll walk out of here because that's what you do. How about getting responses to your pitches? How do you get a good percentage, or I know, I mean, I'm guilty. You can't respond to every one of them, but what would you say? What would you say a response rate is?
I don't know if I have a rate that I could say. It kind of depends on the relationship, and it also depends on what you're pitching. For example, for some of our clients,
Yeah.
we are pitching holiday gift guide now.
Hmm.
And the amount of reporters covering holiday gift guide and getting holiday gift guide pitches, that is a lot. So I understand that it can be difficult to
Oh yeah.
respond to all of that. So it's,
Sure.
doing what you can to make your client stand out, crafting a
Mhm.
creative and thoughtful pitch, and
Yeah.
reaching those reporters that may be of interest, and also maybe even tailoring the pitch to say, like, we saw you covered the holiday gift guide on XX gifts for moms. We thought, or this could make a great gift for a mom if you'd be
Hmm.
interested in updating your piece or you have plans to update your piece in the future.
Yeah.
It's really tailoring that and trying to stand out that way.
Yeah, sure. I know that I don't know how many you get this time of year. Are you doing year aheads? Are you doing years just to one by? Are you doing gift giving? Are you doing and it's the right pitch. It's the right thing to do this time of year. And
Mhm.
it's just that you get inundated with it. And it's fine. I get pitch. I get on these wrong lists. I've gotten like all these fashion and makeup pitches lately. And wow. But the thing is, those are cool stories. But I'm just not allowed to write them. It's not my beat. But you just want to say, "Oh man, can you make it? Can you make it relate to a car? I mean, can you put the makeup on the back seat of a car and not have it run or something like that?" You know, anything to make it work. So as we get down near the end here, Kelly, it's been so great talking to you. Anything big coming up that you can talk about?
Anything big coming up as far as clients or
Yeah,
career development?
yeah, you probably can't talk about it, right? So all in,
Not client,
no,
any
I know.
hot things for upcoming clients.
I'm trying to be a reporter here. I'm trying to get a story, but in front of everyone in the world. I mean, it's kind of stupid, but you can always try. You can always try. But Kelly, it's been great. I love that you've been able to come on the podcast here and talk to you when we're not just talking about a story and little clips and little emails, but to get to talk to you at some length. You're great. You're great at what you do. And I really enjoy working with you. Can't wait for the next one and the one after that and the one after that. Really appreciate you coming on. Everyone, Kelly Law from the brand AMP you're based in Atlanta, but your agency is where?
Mainly based in Costa Mesa with our biggest office and then another smaller office in Chicago.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, we'll see you along the beat, whether it's Archer and or some other client maybe I don't know about yet. Maybe you'll have something cool.
Yes,
Okay. Remember to give it Forbes first, right? Then Bart,
of
right?
course,
Exclusive,
of course.
exclusive. Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll count that in. Kelly Law, thank you so much. And thank you all for listening and watching this episode of Tales from the Beat. I'm Ed Garsten, and I'll be back soon with more tales. Take care.